the Tesbros PPF kit for the Tesla Model S. Let's do this. Well, for most people, the thought of installing PPF, or paint protection film, seems like a daunting task and should be left to the pros, right? Well, for those who don't have a lot of time or patience, then yes, it should be left to the pros. But if you like to save money, then keep watching, because you'll quickly discover that installing PPF is actually quite doable for almost anyone, especially if you do have the time and patience it takes to do it. And Tesbros has taken the experience to the next level by making the experience as easy as possible. In October of 2020, a friend of mine purchased a Tesla Model Y Performance, which may look familiar because I am now the proud owner of that Tesla. Now, before the car was delivered, he ordered a pre-cut piece of PPF for the front bumper. Now, he asked me to help, and I was able to document the experience in a previous video. Now, if you are seriously thinking of tackling a do-it-yourself PPF install, then I suggest you watch this video to learn exactly what not to do. Granted, it did the job and protected his Y, but before I took it off his hands, one of the first things he did was take off the PPF. While we did the research and watched as many videos as we could, we thought we were prepared and ready to take on the project. Even though the end product wasn't a complete disaster, we simply weren't properly prepared. The videos didn't give us specific details on how to do the job, and the instructions that came with the PPF kit were just enough to get us by, but not specific enough to give you the tools you need to get the job done properly, especially if you've never done it before. This is where Tesbros comes in. And let me tell you off the bat, they nailed it. Not only do they give you everything you need to get the job done, but they took it one step further. In fact, a big and important step that makes them stand out above the rest. They put together an extensive step-by-step video series for you to watch to not only show you the proper way to do things, but also how to handle common problems you may run into along the way. And let me tell you, by the time I finished watching the video series, I felt like I was a seasoned pro. Now, one thing to keep in mind is the fact that this is not a how-to video. Tesbros has you covered in their how-to video series. Now, the purpose of this video is to help give you an idea as to whether or not you should take on this kind of project. Now, we're also going to hear from my friend, the owner of this beautiful Tesla Model S Plaid, to share his overall thoughts between his first attempt with the Model Y and his most recent Tesbros PPF kit experience. Now, making sure they make precise cuts so the pieces fit perfectly in your car is only part of the process. What is just as important is making sure you know what you're doing from beginning to end. This is why Tesbros put together a detailed, and I mean detailed, series of videos taking you step by step through the entire process, from introducing you to what's in the kit, all the way through to the end to proper care after it's installed. While the kit was being delivered in the mail, my friend and I took advantage of the time to watch all of the instructional videos. And although it may seem like a long, drawn-out process, you don't want to skip any of it, because every part of the process helps to ensure a successful application. Now, the first video will give you a good idea of what to expect once you open the kit, and it includes everything. The only thing you'll need are 2 wash buckets, a grit guard, and a good towel to dry off the car. That's it. Tesbros provides everything else you'll need for the entire process. Next, they show you how to mix the slip and tack solution. Now they simplify the slip solution by providing pre-measured packets in the kit. Now, once you properly measure the amount of water in the bottle, all you need to do is add 1 packet of soap and you're good to go. Now once you have your slip and tack solution ready to go, it's time to try a few practice pieces so you know what to expect when it's time for the real deal. Now, the first piece is rectangular and allows you to check your slip solution to make sure there is enough slip. This will also be an opportunity for you to familiarize yourself with the different types of squeegee techniques. Now the second piece will show you how to properly tack down one side to allow you to stretch the other side of the PPF over a sensor. Now once you get all of that down, they show you step by step how to apply the PPF pieces to the side view mirror. Now, once you're done, this should give you a good idea as to whether or not you're up for the task. If you decide this isn't for you, no worries. You can send it all back to Tesbros for a complete refund as long as nothing else is opened up or used. Now once you watched all of the videos and you're determined you're up for the job, it's time to prep the surface of your car to ensure it lasts a long time. Now as I mentioned, Tesbros does include everything you need. The only thing you'll need to provide are 2 buckets and of course a grit guard as well. They provide you with the soap and not to mention even the degreaser. So you need to wash it with the soap, then use a degreaser. And the third step in the prepping process is to use the supplied clay bar to lift off any mist contamination on the car to help give you a smooth surface to apply the PPF. And just when you thought you were done, there is yet one more step in the prepping process called edge prep. Now this cleans all of the hard to access places, especially in the gaps between panels and under the hood. You'll be surprised to see just how much dirt you'll remove. This will also ensure proper adhesion of the PPF, especially around the edges. And last but not least, Tesbros recommends doing whatever you can to reduce the amount of dust in your work area. And for most people, that will be your garage. Now it's a good idea to give the garage a good sweep and reduce airflow by turning off any fans. Wet the surface of the floor to trap dust particles, and wash your hands and make sure your clothing don't have any pet hair or lint. Now the last thing you want is a lot of dust particles getting on the adhesive side of the PPF. Now my friend is a pilot and we use his hanger for the install. Now before starting any of the sections of the car, we made sure to watch the instructional video just to make sure. Now it's important to follow the instructions carefully so you know when and where to use the tack and slip solution. Now, there's a method to all of this madness and the videos are there to help make sure that the process is easier. Another great tool is the quick reference guides you can print out that'll illustrate the process. We started with the hood, first by spraying it with slip solution and squeegeeing it all off to get off any debris. We sprayed it down again before peeling off the first piece. We peeled off the hood piece as instructed by Tesbros, and even though this is something you can do on your own, I recommend getting a friend to help. It just makes the process that much easier, especially with these big pieces. We also learned from the get-go that properly aligning the areas that need tack solution is easier if one person aligns the PPF and the other peels back the piece that needs tack. We did that with each area that needed to be tacked and then worked our own sections of the hood to squeegee out the slip solution. Even though the hood seems big and intimidating, it's actually the best piece to start with because it's fairly flat and the process is pretty basic and simple. I even started getting a little overly confident. I don't want to get all excited here, but man, that was easy. Even though the side panels are a lot smaller, they were a bit of a wake-up call that it does get a little more complicated. Now, there are areas that require some stretching, and overall the process requires a little more attention in making sure you're doing everything properly and in the right order. Now, even though it was a little bit more challenging and there were a few frustrating areas, we kept our calm and got it done right, but knew the biggest challenge was going to be the front bumper. Once again, having a partner was proven to be a big help, especially with the front bumper. Not only is it the longest piece, but it took the longest amount of time to get done. Now, while my friend did most of the difficult grunt work, I kept checking in with the instructional video to keep him on track with the correct order of things. There are so many different steps with the front bumper that it's easy to get lost in the process. But also made sure the areas that weren't being worked on were not drying out and sprayed slip solution every once in a while to prevent that from happening. Now, once we were done with the front bumper, the worst was behind us. The side mirrors, headlights, and fog lights seemed like child's play at this point. The total time it took us to finish the project was about 5 hours, not including the prep work, which was easily another 1 to 2 hours. My advice? First and foremost, I can't stress enough just how useful the instructional videos are. Without them, the install would not have been as successful. There is nothing more valuable than having an expert walk you through the process step by step, while also showing you how to deal with issues you will run into along the way. And secondly, take your time and stay calm no matter what happens. Once you understand even the basics of how to work with PPF, you quickly discover that you can easily fix a mistake as long as you take care of it early on rather than a few hours later. For example, if you use tack solution and you don't like where it tacked down, no worries. Just peel it back, spray on some slip solution, and try again. As mentioned earlier, my friend is the first owner of my Tesla Model Y Performance, and he gives his take on the difference between the off-brand kit versus Tesbros.
The first time that we did this, that's almost, 3 years ago when we did the Model Y, we had some off-brand PPF, and that was our first experience. And when we put that on, it was a very difficult job, and the end result just didn't look that good. We had those little fingers around the wheel well openings, just a nightmare. And the end result of that is, I don't know, I kind of wish that I'd never done it. But this experience was completely different. The tutorials, the amount of support that we got with this kit, everything that was needed was in the kit, where before we didn't get anything and we had to do our own research on how to do it. Tesbros had every piece, and including the little packets of soap. They even gave us a practice kit, so we got extra pieces of PPF to just experiment with. And it really, really added to the confidence. And I think the biggest thing was the confidence. You know, to be able to take on that kind of task requires courage. And from that, I would recommend that, of course, watching the tutorials in depth, but a second person is a really good idea. And you know, I've thought about even a third person might be good. We had the computer set up there, so we had the tutorials that we could refer to. So as each step of the process, we went back to tutorials, looked them over, and having a third person to just kind of follow along on those tutorials wouldn't be a bad idea. Of course, it is designed that one person could do it, but I'm glad we had two. The end result is just amazing. I've had so many compliments. People walk up and just comment on how shiny the paint is, and they don't know that it's PPF. So I am tickled to death. I highly recommend this kit, and if I had it to do over again, I would certainly do it.
Bottom line, if you're currently researching PPF for your Tesla, and you have even considered a do-it-yourself kit, then I say look no further. The combination of the precise cuts and the instructional videos make this a project almost anyone can do. This is one of the several pre-cut items I have installed from Tesbros. First, there was a center console wrap, then the chrome delete kit, and now the PPF kit. And every time, I have been thoroughly impressed with just how good the pre-cuts are. Tesbros has got it down to an exact science. I also love the fact that they give you pieces to practice with so you can brush up on your skills and become more familiar with something most of us have never worked with. So if you're ready to take on this project and want to save some money while you're at it, be sure to use my discount code FrugalTeslaGuy at checkout. And it'll be even easier to get the discount if you click on the link to their website provided in the description below. Well, thank you all so much for watching, and you know the drill. Like, subscribe, and stay positively charged.